Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio on W4HC Radio, where you can learn to accelerate your body, mind, and spirit to reclaim the true potential that exists within you through cutting-edge wellness, tools, and modalities. Here's your host, Sarah Banta.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio. I'm your host, Sarah Banta, and I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of 3 teenagers. I believe that your body does want to and is capable of rebuilding and healing itself. Regardless of what chronic disease you may have, I'm here for you to answer your questions and bring you innovative and cutting-edge technologies and health solutions to empower you and your ability to reach your optimal state of health. So before we introduce our guests, I wanted to go through silver and the silver confusion. The last few weeks I've focused on the importance of iodine for your immune system and MyVital-C, which is a carbon 60 or ESS 60, as 2 of the 3 supplements in my new accelerated immune bundle that you can find at acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and they're my top recommendations for these unprecedented times. Not only do these boost your immune system, but they also help with anxiety and fear, which most people are experiencing right now. They help with your mood. They help with your sleep, which is the number one key to a strong immune system. And they anti-age you. I can't tell you, my telomere length is getting longer and longer as I age. I'm aging backwards because especially of the MyVital-C. But this week, I wanted to sort out the confusion of all the different silver solutions, nano versus colloidal versus ionic, as it's attracting so much attention across the country, and explain how accelerated scalar silver is on a whole different level as an essential household immune booster. So first, what is nano silver? Nano silver simply is a term used for any silver where the particle size of the silver in the solution is nanoparticle size range. Colloidal and ionic silver can actually both be nano, and that leads us to what is ionic silver. Ionic silver is a term used for positively charged atoms of silver. These silver ions are usually composed of just 1 atom of silver, and they are the smallest form of silver. They are missing an electron, and such they carry a positive silver ionic charge. Ionic silver is always in the nanometer range of size, so most ionic silvers on the market are also nano silver. So to further confuse things, colloidal silvers can also be in the nanometer range if it's produced properly. Ionic silver is dissolved silver or silver ions dispersed in water. While the ionic silver has the same antimicrobial effects as colloidal silver, it contains no metals. A silver ion is a single atom, while metals that are actually metal crystals made up of 2 or more atoms. And they have found, quote unquote, silver ions delivered by nanoparticles to bacteria promote lysis, the process which cells break down and ultimately die, which makes silver nanoparticles a superior and widely used antibacterial agent. That is well known. So let's turn to colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is a solution of pure metal silver particles suspended in water. Real colloidal silver is made up of 2 or more atoms of silver that is not bound to any other substance and can be separated out of the solution if you want to. A high concentration of this type of silver with enough ppms or parts per million will change the color of the water to a golden yellow tint. If the particle size of the silver is so small the ppm and the ppm is low, then the color of the solution can also be clear. So when you ask what is the most effective ppm for colloidal silver, I get that question all the time, and I actually think people that ask that question don't even know why they're asking it. It is more important a matter of the particle size and the absorption in the body of the silver solution. It's been shown that 10 ppm to 20 ppm is a very effective concentration and is also safe to drink. Now, thinking about metals, I'm someone that was highly toxic with lead, mercury, and aluminum. So I'm the last person to take in a metal that's going to be toxic. So it's extremely important to make sure that whatever colloidal silver product you're ingesting is made with only steamed distilled water and pure silver. 99.99 pure is what I recommend, or above. Most companies will not spend the extra money to use the steamed distilled water, as the equipment is really expensive. And a lot of water or companies will state they're using distilled water, but in reality, they're using reverse osmosis water or deionized water. Both of these methods use filters or resins to clean the water, and deionized water uses the resins that actually contain toxic materials to do the ion exchange. So accelerated scalar silver is made with both colloidal and ionic silver and is always made with the highest quality double steamed distilled water. So what is accelerated scalar silver, as we're talking about all the different silvers? It actually contains both colloidal and ionic silver in the nanometer range, 1.8 to 8.8 nanometers, and it's the reason why it's so clear. Using both the nano-sized ions of silver and also the percentage of nano-sized colloidal silver, it provides the benefit of both. And our current formula has approximately 80% ionic silver and 20% nano. It's also programmed with bioinformational scalar technology to enhance its efficacy. So there's really no comparison to it on the market. So with all this being said, what should you watch out for when choosing your silver on the market? There are very few makers of true colloidal silver, as it's a difficult, slow process, and silver has a propensity for clumping together and falling out of solution if made incorrectly. Runaway voltage is a real problem in making metal colloidal solutions. And accelerated silver, we used a computerized system for continually measuring the voltage and using during the process to make sure we never have runaway voltage that can cause large particles. Ionic silver, because the particle size is so small, usually does not reflect light well, thus the Tyndall effect could be absent. So what is the Tyndall effect? It is if you shine a laser into the silver solution that does not generate the Tyndall effect, then there's probably not much colloidal silver in the solution. And worse yet, it might be just a silver salt solution. Some manufacturers might be using distilled water, but because of the process they are using to make the silver is produced in an environment where the nitrogen compounds in the air in the chamber make nitrate compounds. This is not a good thing. One common chemical created by this process creates nitric acid, which then dissolves the silver in solution and can create silver nitrates. Whenever silver solutions are produced in this manner, dangerous silver nitrate compounds are also produced, which is why these pharmaceutical silvers became infamous and they're no longer used. But there's still manufacturers making their silver in this way, and that's currently on the market. Again, this is the reason why we at Accelerated Health Products use low voltage process in our system, and it's a completely closed system that does not allow any air into our chambers during the manufacturing process. Not only does this completely eliminate any chances of producing nitrates, but it also prevents little things like dust from getting into our product at any level of contamination that could disrupt the colloids and make them fall out of solution. So basically, a lot of marketers are now using the term nano to create some buzz around their silver solution and nano silver benefits. but all good silver solutions should be in the nano size range. Nano is just a term describing the size of the particles. It's true that the smaller the silver particle, the better its effectiveness, and it's also when the silver is in a nano range and not mixed with or bound to any other chemicals, it's safe to use in the 10 to 20 ppm concentration range. If you have any questions about it, you can visit me through acceleratedhealthproducts.com and ask me any questions. I've got a lot of information on the website about accelerated scalar silver and about the different types of silver. I'm always here to help. So you can get the silver this week, BOGO, 1 buy 1 get 1 30% off, and it's also in the new immune bundle with the Acceleradine iodine and the MyVital C, truly anti-aging and immune boosting power pack group of supplements. We're going to take a quick short commercial break and be right back with our guests.
Are you wanting to optimize your physical, mental, and emotional health? Visit www.acceleratedhealthproducts.com. Accelerated Health Products to detox, reset, and rebuild your immune system naturally, and to accelerate your body, mind, and spirit with cutting-edge supplements and solutions. Get Sarah Banta's personal advice on a protocol just right for you. That's www.acceleratedhealthproducts.com.
Welcome back to Accelerated Health Radio. I'm so excited for today. We actually have two guests, not just one. We get double packed this morning. First, Destiny Owen. She's a certified master personal trainer, certified nutritional specialist, expert yoga instructor, and certified corrective exercise therapist specialist. She currently owns two companies, Shape Your Destiny and Cure in 4 Inc. She's well known as the host for HLTV's hit series, The Contentment Coach, where she interviews well-known public figures about their journeys to success. And as a legacy Lululemon ambassador for her charitable community work, she's known for coaching celebrities like Sandra Lee, aka Dr. Pimple Popper. She was also the personal trainer behind the transformation of Sarah Baum on ABC's hit show, The Revolution, with Ty Pennington, Tim Gunn, Harley Pasternak, Dr. Jennifer Ashton, and Dr. Tiffany Davis Henry. She's also well known for her work in corporate health and wellness. She's been the official running coach for various police departments, for the Notorious Baker to Vegas Relay Run, and she also provides yoga instruction for the Ontario Fire Department, UPS, and the Orange County School Districts. She began her first business, Shape Your Destiny, a health and wellness center, and a gym in 2010, and launched her own fitness and nutrition app in 2016. And the guy on her right, which you guys can't see, is Joe Reynolds. He's born and raised in London. You'll love his accent. With a background in martial arts all the way to the pro level, and then continued with bodybuilding. He experimented with steroids for 4 years, taking his lean build from 165 to a big old 250. He moved to California in 2015. And his health and disease studying went from an obsession to a mission, and that truly reminds me of myself. How I came across my passion. He does education work and coaching to friends and family with all types of diseases and disorders, and now works with Destiny for Cure in 4. Their story together is so inspiring, and I wanted to tell it to you, but I actually want them to share it themselves. Welcome, Destiny and Joe. How are you this morning?
Hi, guys.
Good morning. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that great introduction.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on. We have so much to cover this morning and so little time. So I thought first we could start with Destiny, talking about your history and your journey, because none of us are in the spot and doing what we are doing without our own challenges in health and life. And that brings us to where we are today.
Absolutely. And I truly feel if we don't share our stories, then, how can other people benefit from them? So yes, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to talk a little bit about it. So, yes, my background, I've always been just loved anatomy. My father said as a kid, I would open the encyclopedias to the anatomy pages. And you remember back in the day, encyclopedias, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had a set back then. Anyway, so fresh out of high school, I went to nursing school and began my journey there. I ended up actually, though, getting my degree in pharmaceuticals. And I worked for Kaiser for a few years. I started to notice that I wasn't doing exactly what I thought I was going to be doing, which was helping people. And so I decided to leave and go back to school to become a trainer, which my father was so happy about. But from there, I was much more happy. And of course, I continued school. And, it's been the best thing that I've ever done. During that time, I started to have seizures, which runs in my family. It's a genetic disorder. And from my heightened testosterone, because it actually only had ran prior in the males of my family. So I'm the first woman to have gotten it. And
don't worry, we love dogs. My little dog will show up sometimes, so don't worry about the dog.
Oh, thank you. But he only barks when he's not supposed to. That's a Chihuahua for you, though. So I got really frustrated at one point because I felt, like I was doing everything right. I was being healthy, but why was I still continuing to have seizures? And you can imagine, what my life looked like then, because obviously I wouldn't drive. I was literally riding my bike everywhere. I even rode my bike to all my children's football practices. It made life very, very, very difficult. So I got on medicine, and I was still having them off and on. And then I met Joe, and Joe, he truly changed my life. So I'm proud to say today I am finally off every medication. I don't take anything, and I'm seizure-free for over 5 years. Wow. So what Joe had taught me was really, that the brain is made of 70% fat. He introduced minerals into my life and a ketogenic fasting, intermittent fasting type diet. I've never felt better in my life. And so obviously that went into my clients. So I started raving about it to my clients. So all my clients started doing these same things. And all of them just have exponential results. I've never seen a type of eating that transforms people, not just the outside, but the inside as well. They're more focused, more present. And, I'm just so grateful. And so I'll let Joe kind of tell you how he came about coming into my life. Anyways, long story short, of course, he fixed me. We fell in love, and now we're engaged to be married.
Congratulations. It's such an amazing story. I love it. I always laugh because I was like you. I didn't really know much of anything as far as nutrition, or I thought I did. Of course, I was doing everything wrong when I first got married. And so as I've learned, it's like me pulling my husband with a chain, like, okay, you've got to change this, you've got to change that. And he fights it, but then he's now on board with everything. You guys don't even realize how lucky you are, how you are coming into your marriage on the same page. I just want you to know that. That's a huge thing that I think a lot of couples fight over, or can cause dissension, because food you have to eat every single day. And if you have to take care of yourself every day. And there are a lot of couples that are not on the same page. And I'm sure you see this, where you have one that says, I just I don't know what to do at home because all the junk food's there. My husband won't give it up, or my wife won't give it up, and I don't know how to get them off the couch, and I'm trying to change my life. And so kudos to you. You guys are going to start out on such an amazing foundation just because of that. And I don't even know if you realize that, but it's amazing. So God bless you. And that's half the battle, I would say.
Well, thank you. I've never looked at it quite like that, but I agree with you. Although I will say that we had, for me, because of going to school to be a nutritional specialist, I'm sure that Joe feels this way, but, he really I kind of had to unlearn some things. Yeah. Because, obviously the pyramid's upside down and all that fun stuff. And the way you're trained in traditional school, to be honest with you, I had to kind of wipe that slate clean. And I did think I was doing things right. And so Joe definitely had to be pretty stern and drag me through the mud for a little while. But I'm a full believer now. So, right, Joe?
Awesome. Well, Joe, let's go back to your story. I mean, you have I cut it down because I really wanted to hear it from your point of view and how you got it to be such a mission and your obsession with health, which is something that I truly experience.
Okay, yeah. I mean, since I can remember, and I'm talking 3, 4, 5 years old, I wanted to be a professional fighter. My granddad went for the world title in 1936. He was technically a millionaire in the 40s, making £7,000 a fight. So that's like $1 million a fight. Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to be that. So I started studying health, working out, exercising, training, kickboxing, Thai boxing, boxing, Kempo, K1, every type of martial art, earning a couple of black belts,
just a couple. Oh, easy.
Yeah, fought for England and everything was great. And but I did develop nerve damage through overtraining. We considered it callousing the nerves. So you make your arms and your legs numb so that you can kick someone and block and, and I developed Reynolds syndrome and it got terrible. My hands and feet were going numb every hour. And I was told I would damage myself for life. So I had to stop the sport that I loved, which I put 100% into, and it affected my education because I just thought I'm going to be the best, which I was for a period of time. So then I got into bodybuilding and did it like the traditional way, ate loads of protein, probably too much, did the steroids. But throughout this whole journey of fitness and what I thought was perfect health, my mum was an alcoholic my whole life, and she was getting gradually sicker and sicker. And every disease and disorder she developed, the doctors just threw more medication at her. And from literally 45 to 65, when she died, she had no life. She was like this little old 100-year-old lady, osteoporosis, glaucoma, cancers, you name it, everything you could imagine, and stuff that we had no idea because she just gave up on diagnosis in the end and just kept taking her 30 meds. Whilst drinking 2 litres of gin a day and smoking 3 packs, so very unhealthy. And I tried to live the opposite of her life. It was actually her death that motivated me to start studying disease and disorder because obviously, it ruined our relationship because I was constantly trying to help her, stop smoking, stop drinking and exercise because I truly believed in my soul that was what was the root cause of her disorder, not knowing what I know now. But 4 months after she died, one of my best friends, 32 years old, dies of a heart attack due to too many blood pressure lowering medications. And since I started on the disease and disorder education, it didn't take me long to stumble upon 2 or more blood pressure lowering meds. The states in the medical journals that you have a 248% increased chance of stroke or heart attack. Yet, they prescribed these drugs to him to prevent that. And he just became one of the statistics, which I later learned, that 128,000 people die in America every year for the right drug at the right time and the right dosage. And I started sort of, diving into this can of worms and just started learning more and more. And that's when it became an obsession. And I devoted 8 to 10 hours a day. Luckily, the business I have allows me to have that time to study. And here we are now, 5 years later. We've helped that, possibly thousands of people, and it's an amazing place to be. And
not just thousands of people, but the person to your left. I mean, you changed her life.
Yeah. That was
massive.
I'm definitely grateful.
So I want to start off because any of my listeners know that I promote the ketogenic diet and nutrition, and there's so many facets to health. And we're going to talk about stress in general because everything else you can throw out the window if you're stressed out because that's so damaging to the body. But first, I want to talk about keto because no one can see Destiny. She is not an overweight person. In fact, she was afraid that she'd lose weight. And I get that question all the time. Well, I don't need to lose weight, so why should I do keto? And there's so many other benefits to keto, and I'm the same way. I don't do it for weight loss or fat loss. I do love the fat burning benefits, but the intermittent fasting it allows you to do because your body's burning fat for fuel and snacking on the quote unquote snacking on the fat on your body all day long is just so freeing, and it takes the chains off of being locked into eating every couple hours a day. But anyways, I would love for you to talk about the benefits that you're seeing with keto and maybe describe what it looks like in your world.
Well, when Joe, that was my initial reaction as well. When Joe told me that, this may be the answer, I'm what you call ectomorphic, so I'm very thin by nature. But what Joe had told me was what's great about the ketogenic diet is if you're overweight, it will kind of help you get back to lowering your ideal, basically where it will bring you to where your body ideally should be at, whether you're underweight or you're overweight. So, I trusted that in him, and my goal was to gain weight. And I know that that's not a lot of people's goal, but that's what I love about it because it did help me gain weight. It brought, my body fat was way too low. I wasn't having periods. I was more stressed. I was napping in the afternoons every day. And honestly, within 5 to 10 days, I truly felt the difference, and it completely just gave me so much energy. And like I said, I gained weight in a healthy way. So my skin's better. I can't tell you, just so many. I mean, what do you see in me that's changed?
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, just from your clients' hair, skin, consistent energy, like say losing the nap, I mean, everyone needs sleep is super important, but not, why lose a couple of hours of your day when you don't need to, and just everything, working out. The fact is you're probably never going to pull tendons, muscles, get shin splints like you previously suffered.
Lots of injuries because I was a marathon runner. So I was, I feel like I was constantly getting injured, and I haven't had that problem since being on this particular meal plan.
Brain fog.
Brain fog, yes.
One of your biggest things.
And with having epilepsy, it's very interesting because the triggers are lack of sleep, hunger, thirst, and bright lights. So, even as far as being able to be in the sun without sunglasses and little things like that we take for granted every day, I'm able to do again. So it's huge. It's completely given me my life back.
Well, and I want to touch on your hormone levels because that's something that, and Destiny, we've talked about this, is that I was high in testosterone as well most of my life, and I had PCOS, which is definitely directly linked to high sugar or high insulin or insulin resistance. And as soon as I went on a ketogenic diet, my testosterone came into balance. Now for men, they see an increase in testosterone and growth hormone. So it is balancing the hormones in both men and women and where they're supposed to be. And high testosterone in women have the symptoms of hair loss and hair growth in places they don't want it, and acne, and some things that are not so feminine.
Right.
But that's something that the ketogenic diet is known for. So let's talk about what do you see as the benefits of it as well, Joe, with you?
Yeah, I mean, what I love about it is I get asked all the time, oh, you're into that fad, are you? And I'm like, trust me, this is no fad. This is how we technically ate for thousands of years. And it's been in the Johns Hopkins Hospital for 100 years, curing everybody of disease and disorders when the standard of care processes fail. And a great movie that I sat with Destiny and we watched together was First Do No Harm with Meryl Streep. And it, you know, explains it's based upon a true story of her son having hundreds of seizures a day. Every medication, every kind of thing they threw at him just made him worse. Eventually, they drugged him to the point he was a zombie. And she just thought there's got to be more. Eventually, they allowed her into the wing of the ketogenic ward of the Johns Hopkins Hospital. And, you know, very quickly, he got his seizures under control and lived a normal life, you know. So it's pretty amazing what it can do. And
even on the aspect of, I remember very distinctly, you know, seeing so many clients in a day, them telling me, oh my gosh, you know, your skin is looking so good. And my hair has, Joe always makes fun of me. He says that when he met me, the only thing that was wrong with me was that I was too thin and that my hair was flat. I'm like, oh, thanks. So I'm not kidding you, though. My hair has probably, it's just so much thicker. It's growing like crazy. I finally don't have all those little white spots in my nails. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little... they go like crazy, which I play the guitar, so I'm like constantly cutting my nails now. But it feels good to know, you know, that I'm so healthy. Like, I just love it. Like, you know, I feel such a difference, especially being off all the medications. And I'll say that every one of my clients that came to me really just asking me because they noticed a difference in me. And so everybody kind of was like, I want to do what you're doing because you look like you're feeling great. So I'd say, you know, we've probably at least put about 200 to 300 people on the same, and every single one has loved it.
Wow. Well, let's talk about how it can help with leaky gut. That's something I really talk about a lot, as far as that's the source of your immune system. And we all know that your strong immune system is more important now than ever before, as we're all in quarantine and, you know, dealing with what we're dealing with. But let's talk about leaky gut and the connection between intermittent fasting and keto.
Yeah, great. I mean, we have 13 foods that we state. We have 13 foods that we state, you know, you shouldn't eat in our program. And a lot of them are related to the carbohydrates, the glyphosates, the herbicides, the pesticides, all of which, when anyone does any research, you know, causes what's known as leaky gut, increased gut permeability, which basically just means, you know, we got a very fine microscopic holes in that digestive tract, the gut, so the food passes through into the blood system when it's broken down to microscopic kind of size. And the problem with a leaky gut is these microscopic holes are enlarged because of damage caused by chemicals on the foods. And the great thing about the ketogenic intermittent fasting diet is everything in the ketogenic diet, if you get organic, you know, it's not GMO'd, it's not modified, it's not sprayed with all these chemicals. So straight away, you're cutting out the foods that cause the problem. And the intermittent fasting is just so amazing because it gives our gut time to heal. Our stomach, not many people know, likes to have a 3-hour digestive period and then a 1 hour's rest. But it's not used to, for thousands of years, constantly grazing like the common, the common culture does nowadays.
Joe actually had both of his daughters tested and x-rayed, because a lot of people don't know you can get x-rays at a good chiropractor and they can diagnose it. And both of his daughters had it, and he healed and sealed it.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, because basically, because we're all martial artists, so my granddad got me into it at 3. I got my daughters into martial arts by 3. My oldest went on to be 7 times British champion. And what I discovered through my education by late 2015, that, you know, you can develop damage to the neck and back through martial arts. So I was concerned about myself and my kids, because I've had over 200 fights. My oldest has actually had over 400 fights. So we went to the chiropractor to have x-rays. Luckily, we stumbled upon an amazing one, and he was the one who educated me on, look, I've x-rayed your spine, your daughters, and both your daughters have what's known as a leaky gut. That was my first kind of, eye-opening experience to, oh my God, okay, what does that mean? What can mean that they can be, develop allergies, disease, mood swings, have, bad behavior, everything. And I was freaked out. He taught me very quickly, how to heal and seal the gut through nutrition and supplementation. And I just basically put my daughters on it. And literally within a 40, 50 day kind of time frame, we went back to the chiropractor. We were going regularly for adjustments, and we wanted a confirmation that the adjustments was altering and restoring the natural curves of the spine. And what we were able to do as well is get that confirmation from the x-ray that the gut had healed and sealed as well, because we have something in this called the greater omentum. It's a fatty curtain. It sits at the lower part of the stomach. And when we give our body what it needs and we take out the damaging aspects, this migrates up and heals and seals any aspect of the gut that's been damaged. And so we're living proof that that's what kind of happened. And that's when I first fell in love with functional medicine and could see the results,
Awesome. Well, we've got a couple questions that have come in, and I want to just address those real quick. What can help leaky gut? And you touched on that. Thank you, Dela. Jeff is asking, where does it go if it is escaping from the gut? And it goes into the bloodstream, and then your body says, oh my God, what is this? And I don't know what to do with it. So let's have an over-exaggerated autoimmune inflammatory response. And that response, and this goes along with Heather's question of, are there signs of leaky gut? It's funny, you could have arthritis or brain fog or issues that are not central to your gut or bloating. A lot of times people are bloated or constipated or IBS symptoms, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times leaky gut causes ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, autism. All of these diseases are caused by leaky gut, and that's why I am so adamant as to that is the first place you start. And the easiest way to start is with a ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting. I do have at Accelerated Health Products a keto detox bundle that heals the body and heals the gut, and it really focuses on the gut. If you're interested in that, you can always contact me or contact Destiny and Joe. We
actually have a quiz. If they go to kieran4.com,
awesome.
And there's a little quiz there. It says, do you have a leaky gut? And there's a bunch of questions, and we go through your kind of like some of those symptoms, and we can tell you pretty much just by that what the probability is that you have it.
Awesome. There you go.
Really cool.
So Beth is asking, can you give an example of intermittent fasting, and what does it look like?
Okay, so most common is 16 hours off, meaning you do not eat for 16 hours. That would look like finishing your dinner at, say, latest of 8 p.m. Well, I say latest, that's just a time that's most common. And then you don't have a breakfast or a meal until 12 o'clock the next day. And the great thing about that is if you're getting your sort of 7-8 hours sleep, you've slept through half of the fasting aspect. And then, you wake up and you have that period where you don't have to have nothing. You can have water, you can have coffee with like a fat in it, like coconut oil or butter.
And minerals. We do a little mineral drink during our fasting period. So.
Yeah, it's something that won't kick us out of a ketosis state, if you would, a fat burning state. And then, you have a good sized meal at 12 and then sometimes 4 and 8, so you get your 3 meals a day, you get your same calorie intake. I consider it literally the diet for people that don't want to diet, because you're not eating over a 12-hour period or longer, so you're getting more satisfaction in the same calorie intake in a shorter period.
And we break our fast with a very nutrient-dense shake. So basically, that's what our day looks like is, we have our coffee and our minerals and our vitamins in the morning because of the fact that when you wake up, your stomach, your gut is going to absorb the first thing you put in it more than anything else for the rest of the day. So we make sure that our first consumption of the day has, all the all the good fats, poly and mono unsaturated, such as et cetera, to make sure that, we're beginning with a really good, solid foundation for the day. And I feel like that is huge.
And hence the word, break the fast.
Break the fast, breakfast.
Right. And something that most people don't realize is that you're most insulin resistant in the morning. So when people wake up and they have a Danish and their coffee, or a bagel and their coffee, that is the worst thing you can do and the worst time to have your carbs, if you're going to have any carbs. So that's
your most acidic and not a lot of people know that the pituitary gland will literally instruct your cells, all your 100 trillion cells, to store fat the second you introduce sugar. But if you don't introduce that sugar and you can get and transition into that fat burning ketosis kind of state, all of a sudden your pituitary gland will tell all your 100 trillion cells, release stored fat.
Exactly.
And that's what's...
And if anybody needs a detailed type meal plan, they can go to curein4.com. We do specific ones, and then we also have, just a general outline so they can get to understand it a little bit better. The 12 to 8 o'clock doesn't work for everybody. We prefer that because of the fact of when our organs work the best throughout the day. But if they work early, they can adjust it to 10 to 6. Or it really just depends on what their lifestyle looks like, because we want to make sure they can keep it for a long amount of time. If we give them something that they can't keep, we're setting them up for failure. So we want to be sure that people understand that they can tailor fit it for them.
What's so interesting is I always talk about the fact that my family of 5 is my own experiment, and with my kids and my husband. My husband was always one that said, well, I have to eat my eggs in the morning. I don't know how you don't have breakfast, Sarah, and it doesn't make sense. Okay, so he is now fully into keto, and he's down to 2 meals a day. And he would be the last person that you would have thought that would do that. But he's totally fine. And my kids, so what's interesting being in quarantine with their schedule being home and not like, okay, I have to wake up at 7, eat breakfast before I go to school. They're waking up, they're getting on their classes without eating breakfast. They're having their oxalate drink or mineral drink. And then it's time to work out. Well, I'm going to work out fasted. And I have not done anything about telling them to do this. And they're not eating until about noon for their first meal. And it's a nutritious shake, or it's a big salad with some protein on it with nice fats in there. And then their dinners are super healthy as well. But it's so interesting to see how their bodies naturally did it on its own, because what people don't understand is when you're a sugar burner, you can't imagine not eating every couple hours. But when you flip into ketosis, your brain just does not even want it. It doesn't think it's hungry. So I'm so sad. We're running out of time. So before I know we're going to have to do this again, because there's so much more to talk about with you too.
Like we're just getting started.
I know. But I want to first, before I ask my last question, tell people where they can find you. You've mentioned it a couple times, but I want to make sure everyone knows where they can find you and what you exactly are offering.
Absolutely. So our website is curein4.com, curein4.com, and it doesn't matter whether it's the number or you spell out the number 4. We have programs available for almost any disease or disorder that somebody, is looking for the answers for. We spent a lot of time, Joe, building these programs and then getting them cross-referenced and then edited by medical professionals. So we have a lot of general information like that. We also do health coaching. So for people, especially dealing with disorders or ailments that have a lot of questions and, they're working with their doctor to say get off medications, et cetera, we're available full time for them. As well, we have an app with exercises and breathing techniques for people depending on what level they are. And it's me, myself, teaching the exercises. We pretty much have tried to make tools available for anybody on any budget to work with their budget and their lifestyle to really make their transition to a healthy lifestyle comfortable.
Amazing. And I am scheduling myself to do yoga with you, Destiny, at some point, because something that I'm eating right, I'm doing all my supplements, but during quarantine, like all of us, the stress is getting to me and I'm missing my yoga, and I'm working out every day. So it's not that I'm not working out, but I can feel it in my body. And so definitely need to do that. Well, last question. What are the top 3 things that you do on every day or focus on to accelerate your body, mind, and spirit?
Well, okay, to answer that, the intermittent fasting is so amazing purely because of BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. So we're actually increasing brain cells, brain function just by doing nothing. So again, that's why I love fasting every day. Making sure I get my minerals, because they're the most important, 60 of the 90 essential nutrients we need daily. And lastly, move, get out in the sun, vitamin D and exercise. I mean, I'm pretty tan, but, I need that sun, for everything. And we need vitamin D for our immune system.
Yeah, and I'd say my 3 are, for me, it can be even more a little bit on the emotional side, because I do, and I think we spoke about this a little bit, I'm a little bit of an empath. So for me, it's to, when I wake up, to really take a breath and utilize my yoga and bring myself into a sound mind ready to take on the day. Because I think that's just so important, especially right now with the quarantine. We are fighting off a lot of negative energy. So mine is just to keep myself centered. So that's a huge thing. Second would be also moving, exercise. I always tell people you're only one workout away from a good mood. Nobody ever regrets a workout. You don't leave going, I wish I wouldn't have done that. That doesn't happen. So there's that. And I would say my third big thing, being a mother, is to imply those things with my children, to be a good example. And that's really important to me. Every day that I lay down, I want to know that, I did the best I could with them to set them up for success.
I love that. And I do the same. I cannot thank you guys enough for being on. We will definitely be doing this again, because we need to go over the emotional stressors. I know, please do. We will be doing this again. So thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone else for joining us today. If I can help you with your health issues, you can contact me, Sarah, at sarah@acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and I'm happy to put together a protocol for you. I know sometimes it's hard to know where to start, and you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, under Accelerated Health Products, and my YouTube channel, iHeart Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, anywhere you find a podcast platform under Accelerated Health Radio. I'm now on Accelerated Health Bites, where I do short informational videos about health topics and solutions that you ask me about. So if you have a health solution, or a health question or topic you want me to address, let me know. And if you like what you heard today, please hit the subscribe button and share with this with a few friends of yours who may need my help. As you share my channel, it helps me help more people like you and bring more cutting edge guests on my show. Don't miss next week's interview with the famous Maria Emmerich. She is famous for being a pioneer in the keto movement. And what I love is when keto started out, it was all these men talking about keto, and she was really the only female coming out with it in the very beginning. She has amazing cookbooks, among so much more. So please send me your questions and topics you'd love to hear. Again, you can find the supplements and many other informational videos on my website, acceleratedhealthproducts.com. You can use coupon W4HC20, W4HC20 for 20% off site-wide, including everything we mentioned today. Thanks again for joining us here on Accelerated Health Radio, and have a great week.
Thank you for joining us today on W4HC Radio for Accelerated Health Radio with Sarah Banta. Make sure to tune in every week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to uncover your highest potential through natural and innovative wellness modalities.